You are bringing together technology with new systems and processes. What are the largest challenges, would you say, in trying to do that, especially when you're operating at the very large scale that you do?
As you can appreciate, especially when you talk about a large scale, size, scope, and speed of the kind of change efforts, if you will, that some of the various ones we're talking about are certainly very daunting. The variables are very complex. So the biggest challenge, if you will, on the human side is clearly just the fear that many organizations or individuals have in moving into perhaps a space that is uncomfortable for them. At the same time, we have elements such as ongoing change fatigue, one of the other areas that I've seen that consistently, and that we seem to be in a constant period, if you will, of change. And in bureaucracies, especially organizations like the government or the military, for all the things that we do well, being a hierarchical organization that likes a kind of command and control approach to how we do business, where things tend to be scripted. We like to be able to, if you will, control the outcomes as much as possible in more of a standardized, mechanistic fashion. Being able to come up and move outside that realm to see how you can possibly integrate new technologies, form new partnerships, creates a great degree of discomfort. And quite candidly, I have found that although there are some individuals in the various leadership levels who are willing to support that, there are equally, if not more, who are very uncomfortable not being able to clearly see the outcome you're driving to. It's easy to be confused and become infatuated with the thing and lose sight of the fact that your primary responsibility leader is to your people. The other part is the willingness to take smart risks. It goes back to this very conversation. Smart risk infers that things can go well, or perhaps things won't go so well, which cascades into the third point. And this is where I've seen particularly exceptional leaders and the ones that inspire me. And those are the ones that in taking those risks realize things aren't always going to work out as you want them to. And those type of leaders, I think the best leaders are able to fail forward. We've all heard that term. So individuals who when things don't go their way, either experience something that forces them to fall back and to never try again to push the bounds, or those who regroup and realize that every opportunity, whether it works out as well as you'd like it to or not, is an opportunity to begin again, only smarter. You have to make it a top priority to involve everyone in your organization in the process of co-creation. Really, the process that I've been quite a fan of is appreciative inquiry, which, as you likely know, is a way of allowing the individuals who are involved in that change journey to co-create where they're going by asking a series of questions and letting people be involved in imagining the ways to get there, be it real about where they are today, and then creating a path forward that they can understand. And I found that when people are involved in that process, they're willing to perhaps move out in territory that if you just tried to get them to go and direct them, fear would prevent them from doing so.
In your initiatives, what does that actually mean, the customer perspective? And how do you bring it together with this notion of co-creation and collaboration?
I like to remind folks that any of us that are in business are in business to serve someone else. So the important thing about getting everybody calibrated to the customers, I find that the customer, putting them in the center, making them the unifying purpose, makes it easy for everybody to find a commonality to connect to. And if we don't find a unifying place where, if you will, the convergence is, that one element where all our interests align, and that's why I'm so keen on reminding folks that if from the beginning we remember success is measured in the eye of the customer, and we involve ourselves in a process of how do we together create a solution that mixes processes with systems, with technology to that effect, then everyone now something we do very, very well in the military. Matter of fact, we have commanders. We call it commander's intent, and that is to say, we do it in written form. And I found that with a number of organizations I've worked with, even in the civilian sector, the best ones provide the same thing. So clear intent, clear expectations to your people about what you're doing or where you're going, where they're empowered, and then what you need and are expecting them to contribute. When you connect that to mechanisms for ongoing, if you will, contributions in terms of communication, we call that transparency in the world. And even here in Afghanistan, I'm operating 6 business units, if you will, across a hostile environment, all of them contributing to the same shared end. We have a clear intent that is written down. We frequently we've created mechanisms leveraging technology so that they constantly provide feedback so we can make adjustments early on. And then we maintain a high state of transparency. All this then creates a state of trust where individuals then are willing to, talk about successes, but at the same time, they're willing to share challenges. When you create a culture that people believe that their leaders are willing to provide what they need in terms of resources, when they're willing to provide, if you will, decisions when decisions are needed, or when they trust their people to execute within that intent, then an organization can pivot, an organization can shift, and if you will, it can move with things that the marketplace or that the forces around it are demanding of it. So it takes, a lot of this keeps coming back to the conditions a leader sets, establishes how well its organization and the people who comprise that organization, how well they can pivot or be agile in doing what needs to be done. How do you bring the least amount of force upon the right place in a system to achieve what you want to achieve? And I think if we thought about that more in the business space, and I think many people do, more so sometimes than we do in the military, that's being a prudent use of dollars, keeps you agile,